A team of part-time players once beat England at the World Cup. A group of outsiders humiliated the defending champions. And one result was so controversial that FIFA changed the tournament forever. These aren't just football matches. They're the moments that changed World Cup history. From miracle victories to collapses nobody saw coming, these are the 10 biggest upsets the World Cup has ever produced. And some of them still don't seem real. Let's begin with number 10. Saudi Arabia 2, Argentina 1, 2022. Saudi Arabia arrived at the 2022 World Cup ranked 51st in the world. Argentina were ranked 3rd, riding a 36-match unbeaten run, and most of the planet had already picked them to win the entire tournament. Lionel Messi scored an early penalty. Argentina looked comfortable. They had 3 more goals disallowed for offside before halftime alone. Then the second half started, and everything changed. Saleh Al-Shehri equalized. Salem Al-Dawsari followed it with a strike that is still replayed today, a driven, curling finish that nobody inside that stadium expected. Saudi Arabia held on. Argentina's 36-match unbeaten run was over. The win was significant enough that Saudi Arabia's government announced a public holiday. A football match on a Tuesday afternoon in Qatar shut down a country in celebration. But as shocking as that was, the next upset would force FIFA to rewrite the tournament's own rulebook. Number 9, Algeria 2, West Germany 1, 1982. Algeria walked into their first ever World Cup and were handed the worst possible group. Austria, Chile, and 2-time champions West Germany in the group's opening match. Algeria won 2-1. That result alone would be remarkable. But it's what happened after that makes this story unforgettable. After Algeria beat Chile to set up a possible spot in the next round, West Germany and Austria played their final group match, knowing exactly what scoreline would send both of them through at Algeria's expense. West Germany scored early. And then, both teams simply stopped trying. They passed the ball around harmlessly for the rest of the match, content with the result that eliminated Algeria. It became known as the disgrace of Gijón. The fallout was so significant that FIFA changed the rules. Every World Cup since has scheduled the final group stage matches simultaneously, specifically so this could never happen again. Algeria's win didn't just shock West Germany, it permanently changed how the tournament is structured. And the next entry on this list ended a nation's entire World Cup before it really began. Number 8, Senegal 1, France 0, 2002. Senegal had never played in a World Cup before. They were ranked 42nd in the world. Their reward for qualifying for the first time was a fixture against the reigning defending world champions in the tournament's opening match. In the 30th minute, Papa Bouba Diop slid in to finish a cross and gave Senegal the lead. His celebration, pulling off his shirt and dancing with his teammates around the corner flag, became one of the most replayed moments of the entire tournament. France never recovered. Senegal advanced from the group stage. France finished bottom of it, without scoring a single goal in 3 matches. The defending champions went home before the second round even began. Somehow, the next story gets even stranger, because this next upset came from a match that almost never happened at all. Number 7, East Germany 1, West Germany 0, 1974. After the Second World War, Germany split into 3 separate footballing entities: East Germany, West Germany, and, until 1956, the Saarland. The political tension between the 2 German nations was severe enough that they had simply never been scheduled to play each other. Then in 1974, for the first time, the draw forced them into the same group. The world expected West Germany, the host nation, to dominate. Instead, a single goal from midfielder Jürgen Sparwasser gave East Germany the win, and with it, top spot in the group. Here's the strange twist. West Germany still went on to win the entire tournament. They lost, and that was the upset, and won the World Cup anyway. It remains one of the only upsets on this list where the favorite lost the battle, but still won the war, the Football World Cup. The next entry is one of the most painful results in an entire nation's football history, and it came from a team that had no business being on the same pitch. Number 6, North Korea 1, Italy 0, 1966. North Korea arrived at the 1966 World Cup as complete unknowns. One of the most isolated nations on Earth, just 13 years removed from the end of the Korean War, with virtually no football pedigree on the world stage. They needed to beat two-time champions Italy just to survive the group. Italy lost their captain, Giacomo Bulgarelli, to injury midway through the first half. No substitutes were allowed under the rules at the time, so Italy played the final 72 minutes with 10 men. In the 42nd minute, Pak Do-ik collected the ball just outside the penalty area and struck a shot that beat the Italian goalkeeper. Here's what most people don't know about Pak Do-ik. He wasn't a professional athlete in the way the term is understood today. According to multiple accounts, he was a corporal in the Korean People's Army and worked part-time as a dental technician, and was reportedly promoted to sergeant after the win. The next entry is the most chaotic 90 minutes on this entire list, a match where two players were sent off and the team with 9 men still won. Number 5. Cameroon 1, Argentina 0, 1990. Cameroon were playing in only their second World Cup. Their opponent in the tournament's opening match, the reigning defending champions led by Diego Maradona, widely considered the best player on the planet. In the 61st minute, Cameroon's Andre Canabiyik was sent off for a foul on Claudio Caniggia, down to 10 men against the world champions in the tournament opener. The situation looked finished. 6 minutes later, Francois Oman Biyik rose for a header that somehow squeezed past the Argentine goalkeeper. Cameroon had taken the lead, with 10 men against the world champions. Late in the match, Benjamin Massing was shown a second yellow card after a foul on Caniggia so forceful that his own boot flew off his foot. 9 men against the world's best team, protecting a 1-goal lead. They held on. Cameroon won the match, and later became the first African nation ever to reach a World Cup quarter-final. You probably think you already know what's coming next. Maybe you do. But before we get to the final two, we need to talk about a team many historians still consider the greatest to ever lose a World Cup final. Number 4. Bulgaria 2, Germany 1, 1994 quarter-final. Germany entered the 1994 tournament as the top-ranked team in the world, stacked with proven winners like Jürgen Klinsmann and Lothar Matthäus. They took the lead early in the second half through a Matthäus penalty, and by that point, German pundits had all but mentally booked their semi-final tickets. Bulgaria had other ideas. Hristo Stoichkov leveled the score in the 75th minute. 3 minutes later, Jordan Lechkov rose unmarked and headed in the winner. Bulgaria's run ended in the semi-finals against eventual champions Italy. But Stoichkov finished the tournament as joint top scorer alongside Russia's Oleg Salenko, and Bulgaria's golden generation earned a cult following that outlived the result itself. Number 3. West Germany 3, Hungary 2, 1954 final. Hungary's golden team arrived at the 1954 final, having gone unbeaten in 31 official matches across 4 years and scored an extraordinary 27 goals in just 5 matches to reach it. Ferenc Puskás, Sandor Kocsis, Nandor Hidekuti. This was, by most measures of the era, the best national team on the planet. Hungary led 2-0 within the first 8 minutes of the final. And then it fell apart. Max Morlock pulled one back for West Germany in the 10th minute. Helmut Rahn equalized in the 18th. Hungary pressed, attacked, and could not find a way back through. Rahn struck again in the 84th minute. West Germany won their first World Cup. The result became permanently known in football history as the Miracle of Bern, one of the most complete reversals ever produced in a major final. Now, the final two. You probably already know one of them is coming, but the story behind it is stranger than you've been told. Number 2. USA 1, England 0, 1950. England arrived at this World Cup as one of the outright favorites to win the entire tournament. Bookmakers had them at 3-1. Some had the United States at 500-1 to even get a result. Here is the part most retellings skip entirely. The American forward who scored the only goal of the match, Joe Gaetjens, was a Haitian-born accounting student who worked as a dishwasher at a small Spanish restaurant in Harlem called Rudy's Café. He wasn't even part of the original tryout group. He was added to the squad almost as an afterthought, and most of his own teammates barely knew him before the tournament started. He wasn't alone. The American goalkeeper, Frank Borghi, drove a hearse for a funeral home between matches. Another teammate was a high school teacher in Philadelphia. Another was a mailman. In the 37th minute, a deflected header of Gaichen's found its way past the English goalkeeper. The result was considered so impossible that reports coming out of Brazil were initially met with disbelief. And stories quickly spread that editors back home assumed the score had been reported incorrectly, that it must have been 10-1 in England's favour, not 1-0 for the United States. There's a darker postscript. Gaichen's eventually returned to Haiti, where his family's political opposition to the dictator François Duvalier had consequences far beyond football. The hero of one of football's greatest upsets met a tragic fate entirely disconnected from the sport that made him famous. Number 1, Uruguay 2, Brazil 1, 1950 final. Brazil, the hosts, needed only a draw in the final match to win their first ever World Cup in front of their own fans, in their own stadium, under a format that decided the champion by league table rather than a true final. The country was so confident that celebratory medals had reportedly already been made. A victory song had already been written and recorded. Brazil took the lead in the second half. For a brief moment, it looked exactly as expected. Then Uruguay scored twice. Juan Alberto Schiaffino leveled it. Alcides Guija struck the winner with 11 minutes left. The stadium of nearly 200,000 people fell into a silence that witnesses described as more unsettling than any noise could have been. It remains, to this day, the single most traumatic result in Brazilian football history, and the benchmark against which every other World Cup upset on this list is still measured. Finally, 10 results, 10 moments. Which one of these surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.